Okay, let's take a look at the Kierkegaard quiz. Again, we'll go through these fairly quickly. Question 1, the aesthetic life involves greater choice than the ethical life in virtue of its quantity, not its quality. Lots of choices in the aesthetic life. As the ethicist himself says, there's really just one choice in the ethical life, but it's a very difficult, strenuous choice and therefore has greater quality, precisely because there's lower quantity. So, quantity is the sense in which the aesthetic life has greater choice. The nature of ethical choice is to choose absolutely. Choosing for the moment is what the aesthete does. Kierkegaard at points says that's tantamount to not choosing at all. Perhaps precisely because we can choose something different every time. None of that holds for ethical choice because it's absolute. Number 3, what method is used by the aesthetic? That is the rotation method. Absolute choice is the method for the ethicist, the leap of faith for the religious. The scientific method is nothing Kierkegaard has any interest in, or at least not in his philosophical work. Okay, the highest stage of life, according to Kierkegaard, is the religious stage. Pretty straightforward. Remembering and forgetting must be used in the aesthetic stage in order to maintain maximal elasticity of spirit. It's an interesting phrase. He talks about the twin arts of remembering and forgetting as being the core of the artistic rotation method. What all of that produces is a maximally elastic spirit. And that's what our aesthete thinks one needs in order for life to be an ever fertile field. Okay, question 6. The ethicist in Equilibrium criticizes the aesthetic because he has no self. He is a mere multiplicity. Other times he says a mere relation to others. Okay, question 7. The true rotation method differs from the vulgar method because in the true method, one's perspective constantly changes. Selection A is talking about changing the object of pleasure. That's the vulgar rotation method, not the true rotation method. 8. Kierkegaard characterizes objective truth as focused on the what of belief. Subjective truth is focused on the how of belief. So here, what matters in objective truth is whether what you believe, the proposition that you have the belief about or in, is true or false. The character of the believing itself, how you believe it, doesn't matter. Okay, 9. An important achievement of the ethical stage is the unifying power of personality. That's one of the ways of creating a self. Might have looked here at B, objectively arguing for the correct definition of good and evil. Kierkegaard tells us pretty clearly that it's not about getting it right when you choose ethically. It's how you choose. It's the earnestness, energy, and pathos with which one chooses. Question 10. The highest degree of inwardness requires the highest degree of objective uncertainty. Might have to look at the wording a little bit closely there. And again, there are cases where that's kind of intentional. That's a good habit to get into. Certainly if you're taking a entrance exam for law school or med school or business school, stuff like that matters. Okay, so there is our Kierkegaard.